abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Before?
No, we have not.
The stairs at the back of the house will take you to all 4 floors. You're certainly welcome to use these steps, but they only take you 1 up.
Oh,
Top floor is their ballroom. Second floor is more living area. Make sure you hit the basement. It's been a little bit more active lately. When you're done, the Ohio Paranormal Investigators have their mobile unit set up in the driveway. They've got their equipment to tell you about how to use it. They've investigated the house. They can tell you about that. In the Castle Club next door, they've got coffee and cider talking about the history of the house and some of the paranormal activity you've had.
alrighty.
All right?
Thank you. You want to go this way then?
Yeah.
And for you local people, you remember our opera house? That's the whole house. Well, the opera house is really nice. I remember on the small house. But anyway, we have this beautiful opera house. We have a whole lot of old Now, the builder of the home had 12 children, we thought. Several years ago, we found out he had 13, and the one girl died at 40 years old. The little girl really shows herself pretty frequently. You see her on the stairway, she runs the hallway back and forth. They go with that experience a lot of times. We tell people when they go in the house, you know, that I want to see because pay attention to all the things because they're all, they have all husband was an inventor, and he also custom mixed perfume in the basement of the house. So that's why every once in a while you get this overwhelming smell of the old-fashioned rose perfume. And it's really interesting how that operates. If there's, say, that group of table right over there, it'll pick one person, and you'll just smell it real plain, and it's not in the whole room because nobody else will smell it at that table, but then it'll go to the next person, and you'll smell it, and that's what happens over there in the house. So we've had lots of sightings over the years, and it's interesting how this has progressed. We thought the paranormal activity was fairly recent, but as we start researching people back that have connections with the house way long time ago, here has been sightings go way back. And we don't know how long, but there must well have been something going on as far as paranormal activity. So whether you believe it or not, that's one thing, but we truly do have first-hand testimonial things. And myself, I've had experiences too, and I'm not crazy yet, so they haven't called me on. But it has been a significant experience. So if you'd like to attend one of those investigations, they are really interesting. The first one I went to, I was really amazed at all the equipment that they bring in. All the things. A lot of the groups that come are here to try to disprove everything, which is a good thing. That's how we want it. We don't want to have something that's contrived or made up. So we try to find groups that, you know, they're trying to find the scientific reason why there's this experience or that experience or whatever. It does mess with electronics a lot, so I should warn you that if you go into the house and you have digital cameras, oftentimes batteries will go dead as soon as you walk in the house, and they'll start up as soon as you walk out of the house. You have a cell phone, a lot of times they don't work in the house. It messes with our computer systems all the time. It puts messages on the screen that we don't understand what they're all about. It'll bring things up on the screen that we don't know where they came from. Our curator one day came into my office and said, is my computer connected to the internet? And I said, No, I said it's not even on any network. It doesn't even have a network card in it. It's just a catalog of records and stuff like that. She said, okay, would you like to come upstairs and explain to me why random websites keep appearing on my screen all the time? I went up and it was just spewing out all kinds of websites. Had no merit. Yeah. Yeah, breaking the battery. It's really funny. The gal at the front desk, Christy, did she tell you the story? She's a reporter. She's a reporter for the Daily Record, and it's gotten to be really kind of a joke with her and I. She covers a lot of events for us over at the house, and she comes over frequently to take pictures for articles and things. She lives 2 doors down. She will put fresh batteries in, and as soon as she hits the front porch, her camera goes dead, and as soon as she walks out, it will go back on again, and it does it all the time. And she can't figure it out, so it's just one of those things. It will work. Yeah, it will work. The batteries aren't dead, they're just being blocked. They like that energy that comes out of the batteries, so it's kind of interesting. All kinds of stuff like that. If you were here several years ago, during this same night, we had all kinds of stuff started happening. About 8 o'clock in the evening, we had rolling blackouts throughout the house that were unrelated. Like the front foyer where you go in went totally black, and then the lights were on in the back, and then those came on, and then they went black, and they rolled through the whole house like this for like several hours. And we finally called an electrician to come in about 9 o'clock to check it out, and he couldn't figure it out. He said, probably your ghost. So nothing was making any sense that night. Also, we had a paranormal group that was trying to connect to the internet and couldn't. By the way, one paranormal group actually streamed an investigation live on the internet so you could watch it from home. Well, attempted to do that. And nothing would work that night. They could not get it to stream, but they did record it, and then they streamed it then that following Saturday. They streamed it out on the internet for people to watch, but they couldn't get the live connection to work that night for the internet. So the ghosts, they don't like it sometimes, and they kind of pull the plug on us. It's kind of interesting how they do that. They tap into energy sources, so that's one of the things that they do, they claim. So anything that's got an energy source to it, including people, the more people that are over there, the more activity there is, because they have more energy to latch onto. So it's interesting. Any questions? And no, I get the question all the time, is it dependent on, is it nighttime that there's more, is it full moon, time of the year, temperature? No. The answer to that is most of the sightings are in broad daylight during the day. They are not, doesn't have anything to do with the time of day or the full moon or anything like that. So, yeah. Yes, Christmas time they're very active. They love Christmas. The little girl loves it. She will play with things. They'll decorate that room and things will be moved around. Oh, where's Harry at? He's gone. Harry, where are you? I'm here. Harry had our special exhibit one year. I'm glad you brought that up about the holidays. Harry does beautiful hand-decorated eggs. Unbelievable. And we asked him to do a special exhibit in our ballroom one year, and we have display cases up there where the living dead dolls are. And Harry put the display in for us that year, and it got to be a joke, because every morning I would go up to that room, and they're in locked cases, and the eggs would be turned backwards, or signs would be flipped down, totally doors on the eggs that would open up or close. And Harry would come over, and every time he'd come over, he'd have to adjust things because they were bad. And one time we had a tour group in there, and I had my back to the cases, and one by one, the guys were witnessing it. I couldn't see it because I had my back to them. They said, all the signs one by one in the cases were flipping down. And they're in locked cases, so it couldn't be the airflow or anything. So Harry was like, we got to be a standard joke. He'd call him. He said, did they move them again? I think, well, yeah, they did. So and I think it was a little girl that may have been messing with those eggs because they were really fascinating. So, and she really loves Christmas time. She'll be seen coming down the steps. Little kids always experience her a lot. When my office was over there, I used to hear little kids that would come through with their parents. You'd hear them in the hall, they'd say, Mom, tell that little girl to quit following, or stuff like that. And kids don't have any preconceived ideas about this, so they're real receptive to it. And, you know, they'd say, no, there's no little girl. And yes, she is. She's standing back there in the doorway. She keeps following me from room to room. You know, I had to hear that all the time. I mean, it's just constant. So it's kind of interesting. There's Ron. Yeah. Ron, I told the last group about that, but I didn't tell this group. You want to share that story with them? Okay. Ron's with the OPI, Ohio Paranormal Investigators. That's what it is. Now you told me that magazine article was wrong.
Last month we had a group up here, and I had six people, and we were upstairs and realized that Mark had left the light on in the kids' room, and I went upstairs to turn it off. I walked in and looked to see which light it was. I wasn't sure if there was a switch. There wasn't. I walked out of the room. And I turned and went back in the room, and when I went to the left, I about tripped over the little girl standing there, white dress, blonde hair.
She loves people anyway, so she's a neat little ghost we have running around over there. Yes? The interesting thing about if it is the Brightman child that passed away, she never lived in the house. She died in Cleveland before they moved into the house, but they said that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. She never lived in the house. She was born and died in Cleveland. That's where they were from. So the interesting thing is that probably she followed the family because her mom and dad moved down here, and the other brothers and sisters. That's the only thing we can figure out. But it would have been, I think the date was sometime around 1898. They moved into the house in 1900. Or they built the house in 1900. They actually moved in 01. It's when it took about a year to build the house. Does everybody know the history of the house? No? Okay, real briefly, the house was built by L.H. Brightman. He had 12 children, 13. They lived in the house only 2 years, and then they moved. And they were in the manufacturing business, and they outgrew the plant here, so they went over to Shelby, Ohio. It was a sanitarium for 2 years. They did surgeries in the ballroom. And it was a place where people would go to, it was kind of cross between a hospital and a nursing home, where people would go to recuperate from tuberculosis, lung problems, drug problems, alcohol problems, and surgery. They did it upstairs there in the ballroom. There's a local doctor that had surgery over there that passed away from complications of surgery, and he actually appeared at one of our events over here. But then, in 1910, is talked about Lena and Leslie. 1910, Lena lived here from 1910 to 1970. And then in 70, they took her to the county home. She had no children and no family, so they took her to the county home and auctioned the house off to the Historical Society for this time. And it's been open to the public ever since. So that's the last remaining live person who lived there. Probably many others who lives in there now. What's that? Oh, this house, I said when I started, this was Leslie's house. This was built for Leslie, Lena's sister. Now, Leslie got married. She was married to her husband was in partnership with her dad in the construction business. And they built this house for her. So Lena lived there, Leslie lived here. Leslie did have a couple children, but Leslie died unfortunately fairly young because she was in a car accident. And died in her early 50s. Any other questions? Yeah. The small thing is true.
Wow. Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's not usually just a subtle thing, it's usually all of a sudden. Yeah. And that happened to Harry when he had a big display up there several years ago. He'd be in there working and he didn't smell at all. And then all of a sudden, overwhelming him. That's, I tell people to pay attention to that. That's a common thing. Did you guys get, oh, you got something to drink back there? There's coffee back here and cider. Harry.
No, he's got more. Harry.
Any other questions? They said we're out of cider. And Ron says we're out.
It's awesome.
Oh, we're out of cider.
You know,
have
it's
coffee.
interesting because they were talking about the spirits messing with batteries in
Oh,
cameras.
yeah. This is a really
It wasn't messing with my
story.
battery.
I'm gonna
It
let.
was messing with my memory card.
Harry, do you want to talk about that?
Yes.
You were down there. You saw. Weren't you and your sister and daughter? Yeah. This happened at the September Paranormal Nights. By the way, for those of you that just came in, we are going to have 4 Paranormal Nights in 2014. Paranormal Night is where you come in and actually go and investigate in the house with one of these.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'll put I'll get an EV.
And we have a form back there if you want to be on a mailing list.
Okay.
You can sign in and you will get a mailing about it before anybody else does.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Feel free to do that. The magazine, by the way, there's also a flyer out there. I think there might be.
If you would throw that
The
back for me.
magazine you see on the table.
This is a little flyer
take
from
that with
tonight.
you.
I haven't.
One of the
Nate
gals
read it. I don't think
that
you
wrote
did.
this article was Katie. And Katie attended our first paranormal night. She was so impressed
Great.
that
You
she
signed
wrote
us up
this
for
article.
ghost
There's
hunting.
3 articles in this
Fabulous.
magazine, by the way.